Hello everyone and welcome to my first video since my great return to YouTube. And I was thinking what would be a good video to make for my first one back. And I decided why not do an old-fashioned tier list. Now, currently we have Big Brother 26 going on right now. We're about halfway through. We're right at the jury phase, so I can't consider BB26 in this list. But today we are gonna be ranking every single modern day Big Brother winner from season 16 all the way to season 25. That is the modern era of Big Brother, and I will be ranking every single winner on a tier list. So there's gonna be amazing tier, which means this person played a flawless or near flawless game. I have the great tier, which is a notch below it. This is for the players that played a really good game, but there were certain aspects where they were lacking, whether it be competition prowess or social game or whatever the case may be. And then for those who don't go in great, will go in good. These are for the people that, maybe shouldn't have won, but, they still played an okay game. Bad, kind of explains itself. It's not, not the best. And then there's terrible, which is reserved for one person specifically, and I will get to them eventually. Now, before I start ranking anybody on this list, I want to premise that this is all my opinion. So you guys can be subjected to your own opinions. That is completely fine. And in fact, I would love to hear your opinions in the comments down below. So let me know what you guys think of my list, and let me know who is your favorite modern day Big Brother winner. Alright, with all of the intro out of the way, let's start off with our first modern day winner. So, starting off the tier list, we have the main man himself, Derek Levasseur, and yeah, I think this is self-explanatory. I'm going to be putting him in the amazing tier. Where do I even start? Derek, season 16 as a whole wasn't the greatest season, and in fact, it's probably one of the worst seasons in the world, but, he did play the best game arguably in the modern day winners. I mean, there's an argument to be made where you can say Derek is the best modern day winner, and looking at the winners that we have, it may or may not be true. But we'll get into the rest later. Let's talk about Derek. Derek, he was in the season 16 with his main man Cody. They were the hitmen, and he actually got his main alliance all the way to the end of the game. That's a pointer for him. Strategic wise, he got his number one all the way to the end. It was him and Cody in the final two, and of course Derek won because Derek's Derek's strategicness was a lot more than Cody. I mean, Cody had a lot of the social aspect of the dynamic duo, but Derek had a lot of the strategics. He was the one manipulating everything behind the scenes. He was the puppet master behind every or near every decision made by the HOHs in every week, and that was exactly why he won by an almost landslide vote. The only two votes that were not for Derek was Jocasta and Donnie, and I mean, those two people, they already said that they would have voted for Cody regardless, so no matter what Derek would have done, he wouldn't have gotten their votes. That being said, I think Derek played an amazing game. Unfortunately, his game was tainted with the Battle of the Block twist, which I know how everyone feels about that. I don't like it either, don't worry. And this was the season where the Battle of the Block lasted way too long. At least in season 17, it stopped right before the jury started. Season 16, it lasted all the way until the final 7 or final 8, and that was terrible. But as far as Derek goes, he played a phenomenal game. Didn't touch the block once. I forgot to mention that. He didn't win that many competitions, but that's only because he didn't need to win the competitions, because nobody was on Derek's radar, and the people that were already were out of the house before they could win anything. So All in all, Derek was an amazing winner, and I think he deserves to be at the top of the list. Now, let's move on to the second winner. So, the next winner we have to talk about is the winner of Big Brother Season 17, or just BB17, Steve Moses, or Moses. I'm sorry if I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I think it's Moses. Um, I'm going to be putting Steve at. I don't know. I'll keep him in. Oh man, I think I'm gonna put him in great. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was gonna put him in good. I was really debating putting him in good, but I'm bumping him up to great for one sole reason, and that's because he was the one who ended up taking out Vanessa in the end. Vanessa, I think, would have been the winner of the season if she was one of the final two members, but she wasn't, so of course that was impossible. Um, Steve was the one to cut her, so Steve, automatically gets an edge there, and uh, not only to discredit Steve's game, I think Steve played a very subtle game. He played it very, I guess, in the shadows. He wasn't very vocal about his game with people. I mean, he worked with Johnny Mac throughout most of the game. He worked with the Oz twins at one point, and nearing the end, he worked with Vanessa as well. He worked with the majorities for the most part, so that really kept him out of harm's way. And for a while, he kind of floated, like in the beginning, because of that, because of the fact that he was working with the ones that were in the majority power. But he did help flip the house again. The house flipped when James won the HOH and sent Shelly out the house, and then when he sent Clay out of the house. Sorry guys, James sent Clay out of the house, and then Becky sent Shelly out the house. So the goblins were kind of in control at that point. But then Steve won the HOH of the double eviction and sent Jackie out instead, which still surprises me to this day. And I think that was, a pretty good move, since it was Steve's doing that basically shuffled the houses back in the favor of the Oz twins, Vanessa, and him. So I think Steve, like I said, played a very good game. Now, when it comes to his finale vote, he lost 3 votes. He lost Vanessa's vote, he lost Austin's vote, and he lost Julia's vote. I mean, Austin and Julia's vote kind of speak for themselves. They voted for Liz because they're associated with Liz. Julia is Liz's sister, and Austin at the time was Liz's Liz's boyfriend. So he lost the 2 votes there for sure. But he also lost Vanessa's vote. I don't know why. I guess it's because Vanessa kind of made a pact with Liz prior to the finale. But you can also chalk it up to being a bitter jury move. I mean, I don't know if Vanessa's the type to be a bitter juror, but it's probably the former, in the fact that Vanessa and Liz kind of had a little deal before the finale occurred. So, all in all, in a summary, I think Steve played a great game, very low key, and he did float for a little while, which did benefit him in the end, because he was viewed as not the biggest target for a while until people started comparing him to Ian. But then at that point, it was when the house shifted back to his favor, and then he kind of, was able to ride it to the end from there. And I think Steve, deserves his great tier. He's not an amazing tier. He's not a Derek level or anything, but he did play a really good game. Now, let's move on to the Season 18 winner. Moving on up, we have our first female winner on the list, and is none other than Nicole Franzel. Now, I'm going to be putting Nicole Franzel in... I'll put her in great tier, but below Steve. I think that's a good tier. On second thought, I'll put her in good. Okay? Because now I think about it, I'll explain myself. I think Nicole played a solid game. One thing I will note is that I think her against Paul in Season 18, we'll get into 19 literally in the next segment, but as far as season 18 goes, I think her and Paul played equally great games. Um, the only difference was that between Nicole and Paul was that Nicole was never truly in danger, and Paul, throughout pretty much the full pre-jury, minus maybe Tiffany's eviction, Paul was always in people's mouths, and people that someone that people wanted to always get out, but he either won the veto or there was always a bigger threat sitting next to him the whole time. So that's why Paul stayed. And then he kind of shifted his game from that point onward when Victor came back and, kind of climbed his way back. But Nicole kind of stayed consistent the whole time. She was never put on the block until the final four. So, and I mean, at that point, you kind of have to nominate people. There's only one person that stays off the block at that point, so it's kind of whatever. Same thing if you count being in the final three as being on the block. Like, I don't really count that, but it's whatever. Nicole played a very snake game. She formed alliances with a lot of people. She formed a couple showmance alliance with James and Natalie and snaked both of them. She made an alliance with the vets, Frank, Davon, James, and herself. Snaked Frank and snaked Davon. What else did she have? She had the thing with Polly. Polly left on one of on a crucial vote. So Nicole had a lot of allies throughout the game and snaked them all, with the exception of one of her allies, and that's Corey. Corey was her shield throughout the whole game. There were many times where people wanted to nominate a member of Nicole and Corey's showmans, and they always opted to nominate Corey instead. And I think Nicole noticed this, and this helped benefit her game. The fact that Corey was, this more athletic person. I mean, I think Nicole only won like 3 or 4 comps this season, so that's why they wanted to nominate Corey. So every time where Nicole was supposed to go on the block, it was Corey instead, because she slithered her way out of any tight scenario and kind of got her to the end to get the win. Now this voting scenario was very close. It was 5-4. Had one vote flipped, she would have lost. So that is the reason why I'm moving down to good and not great. That was my deciding factor, was the fact that she won by a slim margin and not a landslide or, something close to a landslide. But as far as her game goes, she did do okay, and I would say pretty good too. I guess the only thing that she could have done better is maybe win a little bit more comps and not get in as many fights as she did. Other than that, I think she played a very decent game and deserves her good tier. Now, let's move on to one of the most seasons that I've been dreading, season 19. Alright, so we are moving down to Josh Martinez, the winner of Big Brother 19. Oh boy. I think I'm gonna put, well, I'll put him in bad. I don't think he played a completely terrible game, right? I don't think he did. Right off the bat, season 19 was already a terrible season. With all the bullying and all the Paul orchestrating, it was a very messy and bad season overall, so that automatically taints his reputation. But as far as his game goes, he picked fights with Jessica and Cody for pretty much the full pre-jury, until Cody got evicted, and then after Cody got evicted, he didn't do too much. I mean, he contributed to some of the evictions, but he didn't do, like I said, too much. The best game move that I can say that he did was the fact that he basically discredited Paul's game in his goodbye messages. I think that was very smart of him, because Paul basically neglected any bullying that he did and pretended that he didn't know what was going on when it was quite obvious he did. But Josh was the one who stabbed Paul in the back with all of his goodbye messages leading up to the finale, with basically exposing his game to them. And I think that's what ended up giving him the slight win at the end, was the fact that Paul never owned up to his game and Josh did. That was the reason why Cody voted for Josh. I mean, that still is kind of shocking to me to this day. The fact that Cody, of all people, Cody Nixon, voted for Josh Martinez to be the winner of season 19 after everything they've been through in the house. But I guess he is right in the fact that Josh does own up his mistakes. And, he did do some things. That's why I didn't put him in terrible, is because I have some things to talk about for Josh. And I have someone who's going in terrible later down the list, and we're going to talk about them later. But as far as Josh Martinez goes, I think he didn't do a good game. Like, there's definitely a difference between his and Nicole's game. Nicole definitely played a way better game. Josh didn't play a good game, but I don't think he played a completely terrible game. Um, yeah, I don't really have much to contribute to Josh's defense here, but in my opinion, Josh really isn't that great of a winner, minus the goodbye messages. Alright, now it is time to move on to BB20's winner. Next up on our list, we have the winner of season 20, Casey Clark. And my initial thought is to put Casey in amazing, but below Derek. I think that is a good spot for her. Um, God, where do I start? I think Casey played a phenomenal game. She did play a really good game with her secret alliance with Tyler. I didn't even know they had an alliance until like very late into the game because it was very low key. No one really knew about their thing. People really thought that Tyler and Angela were the duo to look out for, when really Tyler and Casey had a secret thing going on as well. Up until the very end. Do I think Tyler should have gotten the win? Maybe. I think that if Tyler had worked on Bailey a little bit more and maybe not had a blow up with Bailey, he could have probably gotten her vote, and it would have been 5-4 in Tyler's favor, and we would have seen his picture here instead of hers, which is why I'm debating on putting her in great above Steve. And I might do that, but I'll keep her in bottom of amazing for now. I could change after, maybe. But for now, I'll put her in bottom of amazing. She won 5-4 again. We've had 3 5-4 votes for... yeah, since Nicole Franzel, we've had 5-4. I don't really have much to touch on. I'm gonna be honest, it's been a while since I've watched BB20, so I have very limited, fresh knowledge in my mind. But to my knowledge, I remember Casey being a very dominant player in the game, and she was never really in danger of going home. She was on the block a couple of times, but she was never in danger of going home because she always had her allies to back her up if she needed the votes to stay. So, I think Casey is a really good winner, and yeah, I'll put her in amazing. Below Derek, because Derek had a smaller vote margin, which made him win, while Casey was a very nail-biter close vote. So that's why I'll keep Casey in the bottom of amazing tier. Now let us move on to season 21. The next winner that we have is gonna be Jackson Mickey. And I'll put him in terrible. I mean, I don't have much to talk about Jackson Mickey because I think that BB21 is one of the most... No, not even one of. I think BB21 is the most forgettable season of modern day Big Brother. I can't even tell you who half the cast on that season is because I've watched that season once and it was while it was airing. That's it. It was really not that great, and overall, Jackson brought his showmance at the end, Holly, and it was very boring most of the time. I don't know. Jackson didn't really play the great game that, people expected him to play. He really wasn't that great. He won 5-3, which, it's better than the 6-3, my bad. It was better than the last 3, right? Since they won by smaller margins. He won by a little bit of a bigger one, but it's still not the greatest. Like I said, I don't have much to say about Jackson Mickey because I didn't watch his season recently. So, yeah, I just really don't like his game that he played, and he's gonna be sitting in terrible for now. Next up, we have the winner of Big Brother 22, or Big Brother All Stars 2, Cody Calafiore. And I think this one's an easy, amazing tier. Um, yeah, I'll put him in amazing tier. I think Cody basically dominated the entirety of Big Brother All Stars. Was it a snooze fest? Absolutely. It was the most. Well, 21 is up there too, but I don't know. It's arguably the most boring season of Big Brother, period. But did Cody play a phenomenal game? Absolutely. He is the first winner to have won by a vote of 9-0. No other Big Brother US winner have won all 9 jury votes other than Cody Calafiore. So, that's already a point to him. Another point was the fact that he never touched the block. I know we said Derek never touched the block, but if you want to get really technical, he was at the block at the final 3 when Cody had to decide between him and Victoria. But Cody literally never sat on the block once this season. He won the final HOH. In fact, he won the final 4 and final 3 HOH. So he sent both Christmas and Nicole out the door. He played a very phenomenal strategic game, social game, and physical comp game. He didn't comp his way out in the end. He had alliances with Nicole. He had his final 2 with Enzo. He was in a situation where both of the members of the final 3 were going to take him to the end. Nicole was in a final 2 with Cody, and Enzo was in a final 2 with Cody. So, really, Cody was good ever since Christmas was kicked off. And he had this, a lot of fake alliances he made with people, which made them trust him when really he just stabbed them in the back. But his main alliance was with Enzo and Nicole. He had a little thing with Memphis at one point, and he had some things with Tyler, which is why they lasted pretty long in that season. But eventually he cut them as well. And he sat next to Enzo, and even when Enzo was at the end and he had to make a finale speech, he basically just handed Cody the win. He didn't really credit his game at all. He just credited Cody's. So, and that says a lot. Like I said, was it a good season? No, it really not. But is Cody a great winner? Absolutely. And I think he is very deserving of the amazing tier because of all of the points that I mentioned earlier. Now, let us move on to the winner of Season 23. Next up, we have the Season 23 winner of Big Brother, the first black winner, and the first black male winner, Xavier Prather. And Xavier, I'm gonna put him in good. I don't think a lot of people think Xavier played this mastermind game, but I don't think so. I think Xavier played a good game, but he didn't play an excellent game. I think, Xavier only touched the block once, and he won by a landslide just like Cody, 9-0, but I think that's just from the fact that he was sitting next to Big D. The reason why he got super far in this game was the fact that he benefited so much from the Cookout. The Cookout Alliance, which was made from him, Big D, Tiffany, Hannah, and Azah. They stuck together all the way to the end and made it to the final 6 together, which is surprising because normally those big alliances fail about halfway through the season and they end up turning it on each other earlier. But to the Cookout's credit, they lasted to the final 6 and until it was only them left in the game. So I gotta give them props there. But Xavier was he did play a good social game, in where that a lot of people trusted Xavier, but he wasn't really a prominent figure up until Tiffany got evicted. Tiffany was my front runner to win this season, and had we been seeing Tiffany win the season instead of Xavier, I would have put her in amazing, or maybe at the lowest great. But since it's Xavier really only started playing maybe midway through. like I said, he benefited from the cookout a lot, and which was an alliance that Tiffany started. Another point to Tiffany if she was here, but oh well, she's not. Um, like I said, I only think Xavier won because he was against Big D. Had he been against legitimately anyone else, he would have probably lost. I think he would have lost against Hannah. He probably would have lost against Kyland. He most likely would have lost against Tiffany. So the fact that he was against Big D was the reason why he got his win by a unanimous vote, nonetheless. But like I said, he did have some good aspects. I think that he did play very strategically and did have a good social game. His competition prowess wasn't the best, but he did, win a lot of HOHs. I will say that, and had a very decent social game. He is a definition of a mediocre Big Brother winner game, and which is why I'm gonna put him in good. He's not super great, but he's not terrible either. Now let's move on to the season 24 winner. Next up on the list, we have Taylor Hale. And where do I put Taylor? I think somewhere here is good. I don't know if it's gonna be good or great. I'll put her in the bottom of great, okay, just to balance out the tier list. Here's what I have to say about Taylor. As a person, I absolutely adore Taylor. I think Taylor is an amazing person post Big Brother, and even on the show, she was very entertaining. But as far as her game goes, it's a little lacking in some areas. Now, she did win almost unanimously. She only lost the vote of Turner, and other than that, she would have won unanimously. She had everyone else's vote. I think Taylor had the best comeback story, and that is why she's not an amazing. It's because she had to make a comeback, and she wasn't consistent throughout the entire season. Throughout the beginning of the season, she was nominated time after time again because of undisclosed reasons, but it is heavily implied that it was racially motivated. But regardless, Taylor recovered from that pre-jury mess, and she ended up, working with a lot of people that wanted to keep her inside of the house, and it helped her lead her all the way to the end of the game to where she go on to win the whole thing. Had Paloma not exited the game super early, could we have seen Taylor been the first person evicted? I think it's a possibility. I don't know if it's super likely or anything, but it's a possibility that we could have seen Taylor being the first person voted out of this game had Paloma not had her early exit. But then again, the whole backstage thing twist could have been working in her favor and where she won the competition, but oh well. We would have never known now. All we have is what we did get. And I think what we did get of Taylor and what we did see was good, and it's what warrants her to be in this tier. But her as a person bumps her up to the great tier, at least at the bottom of the great tier, right? If you want to put her in good tier, all power to you. But from who she is as a person, I think that is enough to make her go up a whole tier. Yeah, I think she made an incredible comeback arc, and it's the reason why she played such a good game. That's her biggest highlight, is the fact that she made a massive comeback and ended up taking the whole crown for herself, and also the fact that she won almost unanimously. I think are the biggest highlights of her game. She wasn't that great comp-wise. I guess that's another knock to her game, and also the fact that, like I said, she had a very slow start in the game, but once she finally picked up the paces and found the people who genuinely wanted to work with her in the game, she ended up finding the right rhythm, and it landed her up until the winner of season 24. So I give her massive props for that. Now it is time to be ranking the final winner of Big Brother, modern Big Brother at least. Now, the final winner we have to rank is the winner of season 25 of Big Brother, and our most recent winner, Jag Baines. And oh my god, I'm putting Jag in the lowest of the low. I really wish we could have ended off the list with a high note, but no, I have to put Jag in this bottom tier. Jag played a awful game, and he played probably the worst game ever. He literally was evicted on week 4, and had to be saved due to a twist to win the game, which is insane to me. The fact that people still, like some people, consider him to be a great winner. Again, nothing to him personally. I think he is a great person, like personality wise, but as far as his game goes, it was terrible. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was bad. He literally had to comp his way through the entirety of the game. Had he not been against weak competitors at the end, he would have been evicted. He literally was on week 4 evicted, and he avoided the block since then, but that's not really to his credit. I mean, he just comped his way to the end, and it was super boring. He wasn't at the end with his main alliance, Matt, and I think Matt would have been a way better winner than Jag. If Matt was the winner instead, we could have probably put him in good, maybe. I'll put him in good, but no, it was Jag. I have no idea why most of the jury voted for Jag. I think it might have been bias and personal bias, but the only 2 votes that weren't for Jag was Suri and Felicia, and those 2 were probably my favorites from that season anyway. So, I mean, it is what it is. We had a comp out that season, which was boring and undeserved. In my opinion, I think Jag is the only winner, minus Jackson, where I can say, okay, I think that they didn't deserve the win. Because he just straight up didn't. He was evicted and comped out at the end. That is the 2 biggest knocks to his game. He didn't play that great socially. He was in everyone's mind when it came to people wanted to evict, and it wasn't even a secret. Everyone knew that he had a duo with Matt. When you think back to the Hitmen in season 16 between Cody and Derek, there was some suspicion floating around, but there was nothing concrete being like, oh, if I win HOH, I'm putting Derek next to Cody. No, nothing was floating around about that. Jag and Matt, everyone knew that they were a duo in the house. The only reason that they were never on the block together was because no one could win an HOH that's not either Jag, Matt, or Bowie Jane. That's it. Either way, I'm going to stop my Jag rant here. I just don't think it's that good of a winner at all. So this is my winner ranking. This was a long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and sat through the whole thing. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more tier list and more Big Brother content. I'm going to be making all kinds of variety videos about reality TV and total drama and all kinds of stuff on this channel. So please subscribe if you want to stay notified to all of my new uploads. Again, let me know who your favorite modern day Big Brother winner is. I'll love to read all of your comments regarding this episode. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in my next upload. See ya.